में आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ। स्टूडेंट्स, आज के इस वीडियो में हम ऑडिट कमेटी के बारे में जानकारी लेने वाले हैं। सो कुछ प्रोविजंस है जो ऑडिट कमेटी के संदर्भ में यहाँ लिखे हुए हैं। सम प्रोविजन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ऑडिट कमेटी। सो फर्स्ट प्रोविजन फॉर मैंडेटरीली constitute audit committee in one organization or in one company. So that first provision is mandatory for certain companies. So which kind of companies mandatorily constitute the audit committee? That one question arises in your mind. So answer of that particular question is, if that particular company is public company and that public company also have paid up capital for rupees 10 crore or more than 10 crore. Means first that certain companies, type of first companies, all public company having paid up capital of 10 crore or more constitute or prepare or manage the one committee on their organization, and that committee is known as audit committee. That newly constituted committee is known as audit committee. So first condition is for constitution of audit committee is all kind of public companies having 10 crore or more capital. Then second type of company which mandatorily constitute the audit committee is all public company having turnover of 100 crore or more. Means that particular company which having a type of public company as well as their turnover is more than 100 crore or equal to 100 crore. So that kind of company also mandatorily constitute the audit committee for their internal audit and all observational things. Then third mandatorily condition for preparing audit committee is all public company having in aggregate outstanding loans or borrowings or debentures or deposit exceeding rupees 50 crore or more. So at that time that particular companies also mandatorily constitute the committee which is known as audit committee. So first provision for preparing audit committee is certain company or particular type of company which is I mentioned over here. So that particular company mandatorily constitute audit committee. Then composition. So what is the meaning or what things comes in point of composition? The audit committee shall consist of a minimum 3 directors with independent directors forming a majority. Means composition of audit committee also contain, that composition contain also the directors, and in that particular directors the independent directors also included, and the minimum number of director is 3 for this composition. The majority of members of audit committee including its chairperson shall be person with ability to read and understand the financial statement. The person who understand all the activities regarding or relating to the financial sector. So that person also the person have capabilities to understand that all the things. So that kind of person also included in that particular audit committee in under the composition. So then third point is reconstitution of existing committee. Every auditing committee existing immediately before the commencement of this act shall within 1 year of such amendment be reconstituted in accordance with the above provision. So after this particular mandatory things including in law, after that procedure each and every qualifying company which comes under that particular area or which comes under that particular qualification, so that kind of companies reconstitute of their existing audit committee behalf of or according to that particular company. Then second function is to review and monitor the auditor's independence and performance and effectiveness of audit process. So whenever that particular audit company is formed, that second function or main function of that audit company is to examine the all work of auditors which is done throughout the year, and examine and all that process and performance of that particular auditor which is done throughout the year. So that particular audit committee, what I can say, that particular audit committee also give one kind of watch on that particular auditor of that company. Then third point is to examine of the financial statement and the auditor's report thereon. So whatever financial statement and auditor's report comes over here in front of companies or in front of companies higher command or hierarchy, so that report also examined by that auditors committee. Then approve any transaction of the company with related parties or any subsequent modification in it. However, the audit committee may make omnibus approval for related party transaction proposed to enter into the company subject to such condition as may be prescribed. Means that particular audit committee also give approval to the transaction of company between third party, which is comes under the rights and power of that particular committee or rights or power of that particular person who hold that particular committee. So this audit committee also give approval that kind of financial transaction of that particular company with related parties or any subsequent modification. Then next point is to scrutinize the intercorporate loans and investment. Means whatever the process of taken loans and investment, means we invest the fund of company in another company's securities or in another investment. So at that time audit committee also scrutinized all that process of taking loan and investing activities also scrutinized by audit committee. Then to make valuation of undertaking or assets of the company wherever it is necessary. जब कंपनी को मतलब अंडरटेकिंग करना है, हम जिसको बोलते हैं कि जब कंपनी ने कोई एसेट अक्वायर की है उस समय उसका जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि रिवैल्यूएशन करना या वैल्यूएशन करना, वो काम भी ऑडिट कमेटी के थ्रू किया जाता है. देन टू मॉनिटर द एंड यूज ऑफ फंड रेज्ड थ्रू public offer and related matter. Means whatever fund arised by or comes from public offer or public deposit, at that time that fund in what kind of areas that fund invested or utilization of that fund also scrutinized or observed by the audit committee. Then last point is that, and then fifth point is we come toward the main point, which is fifth point, calling comments of auditor on content on certain issues. So the audit committee may call for the comments of the auditor about any kind of reason which I tell you later. But first of all we have to understand the audit committee may call the comments of auditor. For what purpose they call the comments of auditor? So that purpose, that particular purpose is, first one is internal control system. For internal control system also the company demand the comments of auditor. Then second point is the scope of audit. Then third point, the observations of auditor. For the observing the process or for work of auditor, also audit committee may call the auditor for that process. Then review of financial statement before their submission to the board. Whatever the auditors work in audit committee or or work behind the hierarchy of audit committee. So that particular auditor have mentioned all those things related to their findings in the form of that particular auditor's report. So that auditor have submitted this report in front of audit committee. So audit committee go through with that process, examine that report, observe that finding and conclusion, and after that they finalize those things which is mentioned by that particular one auditor, and then that particular report will be submitted in front of board of directors. So before submission, audit committee examine all the work of auditor. Then sixth point is authority to investigate matters in relation to its term of reference. The audit committee shall have the authority to investigate into how many matters in relation to the items of terms of reference referred to it by board. Means the authority of investigation. And first of all, the main work of audit committee is investigate all those things which comes under the all over running process of company, like financial progress and all those things which hampering that particular status of finance of that particular company. So all those things are investigated by audit company. So authority to investigate matters in relation to its term of reference, that also one kind of function of audit committee. Then next point is 7 point, duty to give opportunity of hearing to auditors and key managerial personnel. So what comes in that point? So the board report shall disclose the composition of an audit committee. In addition, where the board had not accepted any recommendation of the audit committee, the same shall be disclosed in such report along with the reason therefor. Means whenever the board of directors or the committee of boards examine all those things and comes out with the findings of all committee, like audit committee, remuneration and nomination committee, and all those things and all those committees finding merged by the board of directors, and they come up with the with special findings of overall that committee. So sometimes it will happen board of directors not accepted the finding of or the observing things of audit committee and recommendation. When the board of directors is not accepted the disclosure of composition and recommendation given by the audit committee, at that time board of directors have to give reason for that rejection. And last point is punishment. So punishment is for what process, or punishment is what kind of work is that is we have to look over here. So sometimes contravention of the provisions of with respect to audit committee are made. In such a case, the company shall be punishable with fine which shall not be less than 1 lakh and it is exceeding up to 5 lakh. Means fine for the company is from rupees 1 lakh to 5 lakh. And if any person also responsible for that particular thing or for particular event, so at that time that particular person also that particular person face some punishment in the form of imprisonment, means jail for 1 year, and it also contained the fine of rupees 25,000 and fine of rupees 25,000, and that amount is started from rupees 25,000 and exceeding up to rupees 1 lakh. So friends, in today's lecture I explained all those things about the audit committee. I hope these all things is useful for you, and these all things are very much understanding for for understand that things which I mentioned over here, that is understandable for you. I also try to explain the each and every aspect of audit committee. So thank you.